Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be actually a review on the Disney Colourpop eyeshadow palette and the Lippies that I picked up and the lip gloss. I originally said I wasn't going to do this video, but I figured it would be a quick, fun video to do. It's not like it's going to take me that long to film. All I have to do is film swatches for you guys and tell you guys my thoughts about the palette. So this is what the outer packaging looks like. As you guys know, Disney did collaborate with Colourpop on a Disney palette. I'm not going to blind you guys with the outer packaging though. Just so you know, the outer packaging does have all of the Disney princesses signed on it. And then on the back, it has all of the eyeshadow names. But it comes with this really beautiful like outer gold packaging. It's really pretty. And then for the inner packaging, this is what the actual palette looks like. Really, really cute. Now, if you guys didn't know from what I said in past videos about this palette, because I've already done like a chit chat get ready with me, and I've also hauled the palette. If you guys haven't seen those videos, or if you guys didn't know what the inspiration was behind this Disney collaboration with Colourpop, the reason why they only chose 6 princesses, because I feel like, 18 princesses would be a lot to fit in one palette, because I think that's how many... I don't remember how many Disney princesses there actually are. I'm actually wearing my Mulan shirt today. There's a little stain on it because I got like a little bit of my taco on it earlier when I was eating Moe's at school. But I did get home from school like 2 hours ago, so I figured I would film a review for you guys because I am actually wearing the palette today on my eyes. And I actually did try out every single shade in the palette. After today, I have tried every single shade on my lid that I've wanted to try on my lid. Other shades I'm not going to wear on my lid, but I pretty much have used every single shade in the palette, so I really wanted to tell you guys my thoughts on it. So, yeah, so anyway, the 6 princesses on the front are Cinderella, Snow White, Jasmine, Belle, Ariel, and Tiana. So I'll just give you guys a little close-up of the actual palette. So they're all wearing Disney designer dresses. They're not wearing their typical outfits. They're actually, where's my phone? Right next to me. I was like, where did I put it? I thought I left it in the bathroom because I just went to the bathroom. But anyway, the inspiration behind this palette was if the Disney princesses went to their actual movie premiere as a movie star, this is what they would wear. Now, what would be cool too is if they actually renamed them to be like their real name as opposed to their Disney princess name. Like, I thought that would be really, really cool, but they didn't do that. But obviously they're iconic the way that they are. Obviously people don't want to like confuse them and be like, oh, what's their new name, so that I think that would have been a bit confusing for people. So anyway, let's get into the palette. So it does have all the shade names on the back, and it's called the Disney It's a Princess Thing palette. So it says It's a Princess Thing on the back. And then when you get into the actual palette, this is what it looks like. I'm not going to go through the names on the back. I'm just going to go through the names on here. So on the top, we have that really beautiful sparkly star with the black background. And on it has the signed autographs of the actual princesses. That's how I thought of it, so I thought that was really cute. So we have Jasmine. Jasmine's the only one that really prints her name besides Cinderella. So we have Jasmine, Tiana, Snow White, Cinderella, Ariel, and Belle. I think that's so cute. So they were the 6 princesses that inspired this palette. So we have the first row is all matte except for this one shade. It has a little bit of sparkle in it. So we have Chip, Juju, Grumpy, Triton, and Abu. Then the second row is all shimmers. So we have Prince Charming, Ray, Fairy Godmother, One Kiss, and Thingamabob. And then on the last row, we have Enchanted Rose, Poison Apple, Magic Carpet, Beast, and Midnight Curfew. So I'm going to go through all the shades and finger swatch them for you guys. I just wanted to tell you guys which princesses line up with which colors in the palette. I kind of thought it would be fun if I would swatch the 3 shades that were adjacent to the princess that I was talking about rather than swatching them in order. I could swatch them all in order first and then match up the shades to show you guys the ones that match up with the princess. I thought that would be a really cute idea. But I just want to tell you guys the shades that are for each princess first. So obviously Chip is for Chip in Beauty and the Beast. It's named after the little teacup that is named Chip, if you guys didn't know that. It's this really pretty like matte ivory shade. Then we have Enchanted Rose, which is obviously named after the Enchanted Rose in Beauty and the Beast, the one that is cast the spell, and if the last petal fell, then the prince would remain a beast forever. And then we also have the shade Beast. So I think this is one of the only shades besides Prince Charming that was inspired by their love interests in the movie. So we have Beast, and this one's like a really beautiful like shimmery brown shade. Then for the next one we have Juju, which I believe is from Princess and the Frog. I'm going to look this one up real quick. I don't know all the characters' names in Princess and the Frog. That's actually the most recent animated film that I've seen. I mean, I've seen it a few times, but that's definitely the one I've seen the least amount. But I believe Juju is from, Juju is from Princess and the Frog. I believe Juju is the, Juju's the snake. Okay, that's cute. So that's the snake from Princess and the Frog. So we have Princess and the Frog in here. And we have 3 stunning shades from the Princess and the Frog. They're so gorgeous. So we have Juju, which is this beautiful matte pink. Then we have Ray, which is inspired by the little firefly, which is such a stunning shade, you guys. This is beautiful. I love it. So it's this beautiful, like, metallic white gold. It's stunning. And then the other shade we have is this gorgeous gold shade, which is called One Kiss. And if you guys didn't know, this is what the Prince Naveen says to Tiana when he gets turned into a frog. One kiss. So that's from Princess and the Frog. Then we have the shades that are for Snow White. So we have Grumpy, which is this really beautiful, like, matte peachy shade. And this shade was actually inspired by Grumpy's nose in the movie. It wasn't actually inspired by, like, being grumpy or, like, a shade that you should wear if you were, like, you know, like an evil shade, like red or something, or like a deep purple, like, inspired by, like, his little jacket. Not an evil shade, but, you know, like, something that was, like sad, and something that was like more cool tone. This is like inspired by his little nose. I thought that was so cute. Then we have Prince Charming, which I believe is for both of them. I was thinking that this was just for Cinderella, but actually you could make this for Cinderella or Snow White, because the prince in both of the movies is Prince Charming. And then they started actually giving them names after that. But Snow White and Cinderella, if you guys didn't know, are pretty much the first animated films by Disney. Snow White was the first, and then Cinderella came out shortly after that. So Prince Charming is pretty much for both of them. So you pretty much have like 4 shades for Cinderella in here, or I think it's only 3. 1, 2, I think it's 3 for Cinderella, and 3 for Snow White. So that's that one, and it's this gorgeous shimmery white shade. I love it so much, like this ivory shade. And then the last one for Snow White is Poison Apple. And this one is this beautiful, like, purpley shade. And you would think if they named it Poison Apple, it would be like a red shade, but I think it's more inspired by the cape or the dress that the evil queen wears in the movie. So this one's called Poison Apple. Then we have Triton in this row, which is this gorgeous matte brown shade, like shimmery matte brown. This is one of my favorite shades in the palette, you guys, and I'll go over it as I swatch them. But obviously Triton is for the king in The Little Mermaid. So these are the Little Mermaid shades for Ariel. I don't know why they gave him like a matte brown shade. I don't know why this one's called Triton, to be honest. But I know they wanted to keep this pretty much a neutral palette with some pops of purple. And I think pretty much anyone can wear this. And Triton, I don't know why they made it a matte brown. I probably would have named this like a different color, maybe. I mean, a different name, like maybe Flounder or something. Or, I don't know, maybe Sand. I think that would be a cool name. But they decided to name it Triton. Then the next shade for Ariel is Thingamabob, and it's this stunning silver metallic shade. Wait till I get into this one. It's gorgeous. And I think that's pretty much it for Ariel. There's only 2 shades for Ariel, and I think there's only 2 shades for Jasmine, which is a little bit weird because you would think all the princesses would have equal amounts of shades, but some of them have 3, some of them have 2. So Beauty and the Beast, it's 3. Princess and the Frog, it's 3, so that's 6. Cinderella is 3, so that's 9. And then Snow White is 10. 10, 11. And then for Ariel, it's 2, which is 12, 13. And then for Aladdin, it's 14 and 15. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's this gorgeous silver. And then the last one in the first row is Abu, which obviously Abu is the name of Aladdin's monkey. And it's this beautiful, like pretty much the color of the monkey in the movie. It's this beautiful matte, warm tone brown, which I have smudged on the lower lash line today. I'll tell you guys what's on my eyes today. I used a lot of the shades today. And then for, actually, I totally missed this shade for Cinderella. I kind of went off on a tangent about Prince Charming and never named the Cinderella shades, but also because Cinderella is not in the first row. But anyway, we have Abu for that, and then we have Magic Carpet. Now, this shade actually wasn't originally in the first palette, or it wasn't originally in the palette, so they specifically requested this shade for, Disney actually requested this shade for Jasmine because they obviously needed another shade for her. Like, every princess has at least 2 shades, max 3. So I'm glad that they put another shade in there for her because she's my absolute favorite princess. Besides Belle, I'm not really a huge fan of the other princesses in this palette. I do love Ariel, and I love Jasmine, and I love Belle, but I'm not a huge fan of Snow White or Cinderella. They've never been like my favorite princesses. And I actually really like Tiana, and they have some stunning shades for her. And then, of course, like I said, the last ones are for Cinderella. So we have Prince Charming, like I said. Then we have Fairy Godmother, which is obviously inspired by the Fairy Godmother in Cinderella, which is this gorgeous pink shade, which you would think it would be like a blue shade, but again, they're trying to make this a more neutral palette from what I can tell. And then the last shade is called Midnight Curfew, which is obviously when Cinderella has to get back to her home because the clock had struck 12 and she has to get back so she doesn't transform back into Cinderella. So let's just go through the actual shades in the rows now. So we have Chip, Juju, Grumpy, Triton, and Abu. Prince Charming, Ray, Fairy Godmother, One Kiss, and Thingamabob. Then we have Enchanted Rose, Poison Apple, Magic Carpet, Beast, and Midnight Curfew. So we're going to start with the mattes first, and I'm going to start off with Chip. So Chip is this really beautiful, like just matte brow bone highlight. That's pretty much what I've been using it for. Look how pigmented that is, though. Like, my skin is white, and the fact that that's so pigmented and shows up like that on my skin means it's really, really pigmented. But once I swatch it, you're pretty much not going to see it. So that's why I swatched it on my finger first, so you guys could actually see that shade, because you're really not going to see it on my skin tone. I can see it in person. Let's see if I can really get it to show up. It's very pink toned. I guess you could see it now. It's a really pretty kind of a little bit pinky matte white shade. And I've just been using it on the brow bone every single time I use this palette. That's pretty much the only brow bone highlight in this palette, so that's what I've been using every time. Then the next shade we have is called Juju. This one's a little bit rougher to the touch, but it's this really pretty matte pink shade. And that one, again, is inspired by the snake, which I don't know why they would make it pink. But I wasn't sure who this was or what movie this was from. That I just looked it up, and obviously it's from the snake in Princess and the Frog. So that one is that matte pink shade, if you guys can see that. Sorry that some of these won't really show up until like the darker matte shades. But I'm really glad that they put these shades in this palette. You can pretty much do any look with these matte shades, so I think they're stunning. Then we have the shade Grumpy, which is pretty much my favorite crease shade in the palette besides the next one I'm going to show you guys. And this one's more of a matte peachy shade. And this one I pretty much have been using as a transition shade every single time I use it. Juju I use as a transition shade if I'm doing like a pinky look with the palette. So this one is called Grumpy. And that one, I'm just going to swatch it a little bit more. See if you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, that one is Grumpy right there. Then the next shade is called Triton, and this one is that really beautiful matte brown that I was telling you guys about. The reason why I love this shade, this is probably my favorite matte shade in the palette, is because it's not completely matte. It's a beautiful, like, soft, shimmery shade. It's so stunning in the crease. I use it in the crease almost all the time. I'm wearing it in my crease today. And it just is super pigmented. You can put it over any of these shades and it really will take over like your whole crease, honestly. And what I've noticed about these shades is that they last a lot longer than like any other Colourpop palette that I really own. But I will get into that more when I actually swatch all of them. But this shade I was really impressed by. I thought it wasn't really going to be like anything special, but honestly, it blends out beautifully and it looks so gorgeous in the crease. I really like that shade a lot. And then the last matte shade is called Abu. Again, a super rich brown shade. It kind of reminds me of MAC's Soft Brown. And this one, again, is like a beautiful brown shade. Sorry if it's a little bit, I don't know why it's a little bit patchy. There we go. That one is Abu. It's just because of the way that I swatched it. Honestly, it's not patchy on the eyes whatsoever. I wear this one a ton on my outer corners or like as a defining shade, or I put it on my lower lash line, and I actually just used it on my lower lash line mixed with Triton today just to warm up the lower lash line, and it really is a gorgeous shade. So those are all the matte shades. Now let's start swatching the shimmers, which are so much more fun. So the first shade is called Prince Charming. This might look a little bit patchy, but it is so stunning on the inner corners. I don't think I've worn this one on my lid yet, because I always use it as my inner corner highlight, but I can tell you guys it is stunning. It's like a gorgeous shimmery white. So that one is Prince Charming. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't it so freaking pretty, you guys? Like, blinding. These shades are so stunning. The next shade is called Ray, and this is probably my favorite shade in the palette. It's such a stunning, like, white gold. Oh, it's so reflective. It really does look like the fireflies lit up color, like the butt, obviously. So that one is Ray. Look how beautifully shimmery and reflective that is. Aren't those like blinding? I actually used it as a face highlight mixed with On the Cusp from Kathleen Lights, and it was so stunning. I almost want to use these as face highlights, but it's like I can't do that because I have so many damn highlighters that I need to use that it's like I can't just use an eyeshadow. But oh my god, in person, they are so beautiful. Okay, then the next one is that shimmery pink shade, and this one is called Fairy Godmother. Now, I haven't worn this one by itself. I wore it over another eyeshadow, and I could already tell that it wasn't like the most pigmented shade. This is actually the one metallic shade that I'm kind of not like crazy about. It's not as pigmented as the other shimmery shades. The other shimmery shades are so buttery and shimmery in this palette, but for some reason this one isn't really like that. It's still really pretty. That one is Fairy Godmother right there. But as you can see, it doesn't really have that super reflective quality that the other two have. It's still really pretty. I wore it over Stila's Shimmer and Glow eyeshadow in the shade Carefree. And I picked that up from Marshall's recently. And it was really pretty, but I just felt like it, from what I could tell, I wasn't going to love it as a single shade, you know, like by itself. Okay, the next shade I wore in my Get Ready With Me in my first impressions, and this is pretty much one of my favorite shades as well, and this one is called One Kiss. You guys know I am such a sucker for gold shadows, so this one is for Princess and the Frog, and it's this gorgeous, like, deep gold shade. Look how pretty that is. That one is One Kiss right there. It's so freaking stunning. I love that shade. And then the last shade in that row is Thingamabob, which is for Ariel. I almost said Cinderella. I don't know why. And that one obviously is named after, you want Thingamabobs? I got 20. when she starts saying that in the Part of Your World song, which is the iconic song from Disney, from that movie. I sing that song literally all the time in karaoke. It's like one of my favorites to sing. And it's named after, you know, a thingamabob, which is the fork, like the silverware that she owns. She doesn't know the proper name for them, so she calls them a thingamabob. So they made it silver. Isn't that so adorable? Look how beautiful those are. I literally could swatch these two all day and do this. Like, look how stunning those shades are. They're so metallic. Honestly, like, they're some of the best shadows I've used from Colourpop. Like, this palette is super consistent. Not one shade is a dud. Except for the Fairy Godmother shade, but if you just put something underneath it, it's beautiful. Like, it still was stunning. This next shade I love as well. I know I keep on saying that about every single shade. But this, I don't really own a shade that's like this metallic and like this shade. It's so stunning. This one is called Enchanted Rose, and obviously this one's from Beauty and the Beast. It's this gorgeous like rose, deep purpley shade, and it's so beautiful. That one is Enchanted Rose right here, and that one is obviously named after the rose in Beauty and the Beast. It's so stunning on the lid. Ow, I just hit my elbow. I'm actually wearing it on the center of my lid today a little bit. Because I wore this next shade for the first time on my lid today, because I've been testing out a lot of eyeshadows lately, so I actually hadn't worn this. I actually have like kind of beat up this palette. I've used it a lot. I really like it, but this is the first time I wore this shade on my lid today, and this one is called Poison Apple, and this one's a really beautiful purple shade. They actually did a really good job on this purple. Again, purples are very hard to make, and I think they made a beautiful, like, soft, shimmery purple shade. It's not as metallic as these two, because purples, you know, are really hard to formulate, but it was really pretty on the lid. I think it's so stunning. I put it all over my lid and then popped Enchanted Rose on the center. So pretty. And then the next shade is called Magic Carpet, which is for Aladdin. This one's a little bit patchy as well. Again, it's a purple shade, so but look how reflective that is. It's so pretty. It's like a deep purple. And when you swatch it, it is super buttery. Like, really pretty. So that one is Magic Carpet. I've only worn this one twice. I did wear it on the lower lash line with Poison Apple once. And today I'm actually wearing it as my defining shade in my crease. And it's a really stunning shade as well. And then just two more shades, you guys. The next shade is called Beast, which is this beautiful brown, but they put these beautiful gold reflex in it, so it's not like super boring, not like his fur. It's kind of like a deep brown red shade, and it's so stunning. It's actually really beautiful. I use this on the outer corners a lot. I'm actually wearing it on my outer corners today. So that one is Beast right there. Really unique shade. And then the last one is called Midnight Curfew. Obviously, they had to put a black in here. And this is a really good black, you guys. Like, super pigmented. And I've only worn this one about, like, I think once on the outer corners. The only reason why it's going to look slightly patchy is because it's on, like, the bottom of my hand. And I have a lot of, like, you know, ridges in my skin there. But that one is Midnight Curfew. It looks really great in person. It's a black with silver shimmer in it. And it is stunning. So beautiful. So those are all the eyeshadows in the palette. So we have Chip, Juju, Grumpy, Triton, and Abu. Then we have Prince Charming, Ray, Fairy Godmother, One Kiss, and Thingamabob, which I think this is my favorite row. Then we have Enchanted Rose, Poison Apple, Magic Carpet, Beast, and Midnight Curfew. Sorry, I haven't memorized all the names, but those are pretty much all the names. So when it comes down to formula and the blendability of this palette, I freaking love this palette. I think it's one of the best palettes I actually own from Colourpop. I'm actually really impressed with this palette. These shades actually last a really long time, surprisingly. I think that these even perform better than my single shadows from Colourpop. They're just super buttery, super creamy, and honestly, I wasn't super interested in picking up this palette, but then when it launched, I was like, I need it. I just need this in my life. I'm such a Disney freak that I was like, I need this, and it's actually stunning. Like, I thought it was just going to be a typical neutral palette with some pops of color, but I actually have been using this a lot. And again, this is like one of the first times I've used it in like a week because I wanted to take a break from it because I was using it for like a straight week to test out all the shades. So what I'm wearing in my eye look today, I took Grumpy as my crease, as my transition shade. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm tired. Then I took Triton as my crease shade. Then I put Magic Carpet as my defining crease shade, like in the crease right here. Then I put Beast on the outer corners. Then I put Poison Apple all over the lid, and then I put Enchanted Rose on the center of the lid. And then I put Chip on the brow bone. Then for the lower lash line, I smoked out a Boo and Triton on the lower lash line. And then for the inner corners, I mixed together Prince Charming and Ray on the inner corners. So I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 shades today. Yeah, I used a lot of shades today, actually. I'm actually really impressed with myself. I usually don't use that many, but since I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 10 shades. Wow. Okay. But yes, it's just really easy to create a look with this palette. I really want to swatch the shades together now to see what the shades look like. I'm just going to do that super quickly because I'm not going to like show you every single shade again, but I do want to swatch them together for you guys. Okay, so these are the 3 from Beauty and the Beast. So we have Chip, Enchanted Rose, and Beast. So those are the 3 shades for those, for that movie. Oh my god, they're so stunning. Chip, Enchanted Rose, and Beauty and Beast. Then the next ones are from, Princess and the Frog. So we have Juju, Ray, and One Kiss. Oh, they're so pretty. These would be really pretty for like trio shadow looks. So those are the ones for Princess and the Frog. Someone just text me. So we have Juju, Prince Charming, no, Juju, Ray, and One Kiss, sorry. Isn't it so cute to swatch them like that, like little trios? And I feel like they're swatching even more pigmented now. Then for Snow White, we have Grumpy, Prince Charming, and Poison Apple. Grumpy, Prince Charming, and Poison Apple. Right here. Grumpy, Prince Charming, Poison Apple. Let's swatch Poison Apple a little bit better. Those are the 3 shades. So cool, right? This is fun. I have no life anymore. Then for Ariel, we have Triton and Thingamabob. So there's only 2 for that one. Right here, we have Triton and Thingamabob. Right there. And then for Aladdin, we have a Boo and Magic Carpet, which are also only 2. And those are those 2 right here. Let me just swatch that a little bit better. A Boo and Magic Carpet right there. And then for the last princess, we have Cinderella. So we have, again, we have Prince Charming, Fairy Godmother, and Midnight Curfew, which I'm going to swatch those here, which are right here. We have Prince Charming, Fairy Godmother, and Midnight Curfew. So I thought that was kind of fun to do it that way, right? So we have, let's start with Beauty and the Beast. Chip, Enchanted Rose, and Beast. Then we have Princess and the Frog, Juju, Ray, and One Kiss. Then we have Snow White, which we have Grumpy, Grumpy, what's this one? Did I swatch the wrong one? No, Grumpy, Prince Charming, and Poison Apple. Then for Ariel, we have Triton and Thingamabob. Aladdin, we have a Boo and Magic Carpet. And then for Cinderella, we have Prince Charming, Fairy Godmother, and Midnight Curfew. It's pretty surprising that they only have 2 shades for Ariel because she's like one of the most popular princesses, not as popular as Aladdin. I feel like Cinderella, not Cinderella, Ariel is a lot more popular. Like Ariel's huge. People love Ariel. So it's kind of weird. I feel like there's like some kind of dust in my room that's like irritating my throat right now. But yeah, I freaking love this palette. I would highly recommend it if you guys were curious about it. The metallic shades are stunning. The crease shades blend like a dream. I feel like it takes like 10 minutes to do your eyeshadow with this palette. You really could do an everyday neutral look with this palette or really kick it up and put some of these shades on the lid. I've literally done so many combos with this palette. I feel like I kind of do a different look every time I use it, and I really am impressed with it. It actually really blew me away with the quality. I didn't think it was going to be this good, but this palette is bomb. I actually really love it. The shimmer shades are stunning. So I would highly recommend this palette. I think it's so good. And I believe it retails for $20, and obviously it's on Colourpop.com. So that is that palette. Now let's get into the Lippies. I think you guys pretty much know that I freaking love the Colourpop Luxe formula, but I just want to cover the 2 Lippies that I bought. So I have Ariel and Belle here. So as you guys can, I'm going to show you guys the packaging first. So the packaging is actually a lot different than their packaging for their normal lipsticks. Their normal lipsticks have the little stars on it, and it says Colourpop, and it has the little stars on the actual tubes. This one has all of the signatures of all of the princesses, and then it says Disney Designer Collection on the actual tube. And then on the bottom, it says Ariel, obviously. When you actually open it up, it doesn't have the stars on it like the original lipsticks do. It's just a regular tube, which I thought it would have been cute if they still had the stars, but I don't know. I don't know why they did it that way. So this one is Ariel. It's this gorgeous warm tone nude, and I'm literally obsessed with this shade. I'm going to wear it tomorrow. Because I haven't worn it in a little while because I've been wearing other lipsticks, but I've worn it at least 3 times already. I've worn both of these shades 3 times already, and I freaking love both of them. But this has become one of my all-time favorite nudes. Like I've said before, literally every time I pick up a shade from Colourpop that's a nude, it ends up being my all-time favorite nude. Because I loved Layover, and then I love What's Your Sign, and now I love Ariel. Like, those are the 3 nudes I have from Colourpop. I only have 3 because I don't need any more than that because I have 3 other shades. I just love the Colourpop Luxe formula. So then the other shade that I got is Belle, and this one has the same packaging, and it says Belle on the bottom. And this one is so stunning. I wore this on Friday to work, I believe. Yeah. No, I wore it, I think on Saturday night, actually. Anyway, to work. And this one is a gorgeous, like, rose shade. And it pretty much is, like, the same shade as, like, the Enchanted Rose eyeshadow. And it's such a stunning, like, mauvey, dusty rose. I freaking love this shade so much. And the formula is bomb on these. I do find that this one's a little bit more drying than this one. I feel like this one's a little bit more hydrating for all day. I do find that my lips get a little bit drier wearing this one for a long period of time. But that's probably because it's more pigmented and it's a darker shade. But I cannot say enough good things about the Colourpop Luxe formula. This is pretty much like my all-time favorite formula of lipstick now besides my MAC lipsticks. It's really hard to beat my MAC lipsticks, but this is pretty close. This is definitely my all-time favorite formula. Like, top 2 with MAC. I freaking love these so much, so would highly recommend those. And then the last thing that I got was one of their lip glosses. I'm actually wearing this one today. I'm not wearing either of the lipsticks today. I'm wearing Makeup Monster's Sedona, and then I topped it off with the Colourpop gloss that I got from the Disney collection. So I was like, you know what? I kind of want like that like wash of color, like something pink, but I want to soften it up a little bit with a gloss. So I got the Disney Designer Collection Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Bippity. And if you guys didn't know, the shades from, it says Bippity on the bottom, the shades for the glosses were inspired by the fairy godmother from the movie. And this one is just a clear gloss, so it works over any lipstick. That's why I wore it today, because I can wear it with any lipstick. And it's a little bit discolored because I have been wearing it over a ton of lipsticks. I've been wearing it over Ariel. Like, usually every time I wear Ariel, I top it off with this. But I hadn't picked up a gloss in a long time from Colourpop, and I actually don't own a clear one, which is crazy. I know I haven't owned a clear gloss in forever. I was like, I should get one. So they named them after the fairy godmother. So this one's called Bibbidi, and then the other two are Boppity Boo. So I thought that was so cute. I would have gotten all three, but I don't need all three, so I just got this one. And it's just a clear gloss, like I said, and it's right here. It's really, really stunning. It's more shimmery in the actual tube than it actually is on your lips. I feel like it's a lot more clear. The shimmers do show up, but not so much. So the Luxe lipsticks, I believe, are $6, and I believe that the glosses are the same price. Don't quote me on that. Either $6 or $6.50. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I really love this collection. I wasn't going to do a review, but I was like, you know what? I feel like I should, because it's the most recent palette that I've picked up. And I always end up doing a review on Colourpop anyway. I pretty much always end up using like every single shade in the actual palette. Did I say what was on my eyes today? Did I finish saying what was on my eyes? I feel like I didn't say everything. I put Prince Charming and Ray on the inner corners. Did I finish saying what I put on my eyes? I don't think I did. Let's just go through it again. So, and if I'm crazy, I'm sorry. So I put Grumpy as my transition shade. Then I did Triton as my crease shade. Then I did Magic Carpet as my defining shade. Then I did Beast as my outer corner shade. Then I did Poison Apple as my lid shade. And then I put Enchanted Rose on the center of my lid. Then I put Chip as my brow bone highlight. Then I smudged a Boo and Triton on my lower lash line. And then for my inner corners, I put Prince Charming and Ray. And I feel like Prince Charming and Ray were like super blinding today. I feel like I don't always get that effect, but I feel like probably my brush is the problem. But yeah, I didn't pick up anything else from the collection. If you guys are interested in seeing anything else from the collection, there are a ton of reviews online. I do feel like my eyeshadow's fading a little bit now, though. It did look better earlier, but I didn't feel like reapplying it. I just reapplied my eyeliner, blush, and highlight before I filmed this video. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys have picked up anything from this collection and what you think of it. And let me know if you're a Disney freak. Please, please let me know. I love how I'm wearing a princess, though, that's not in this palette. I pretty much have a shirt from every single princess on this thing except for Tiana. I do need a shirt from her at some point. I have like 2 Ariel shirts, like 3 Belle shirts. I have like 1 Aladdin shirt, or 2 Aladdin shirts, I think. Actually, I think I only have 1. Snow White, I have 2 shirts, and Cinderella, I have 1. But they're mostly all from Hot Topic. So yeah, I love you guys. Bye!